Howdy everybody, David here, and this is another Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition character creation tutorial series, and this is going to be character creation for the Paladin for level 1 through 20, with this first video basically setting up the character, talking about the character, the way that we're going to take the character, and discussing some features and whatnot, and we are going to get started. So the Paladin has a lot of roles that you can actually fulfill in D&D 5e. You could play a more traditional type of healer, although you would not be as effective as, say, a bard or a druid or a cleric. You could also play a two-weapon fighter type of paladin that's going to get a lot of bonus damage from expending spell slots for your divine smite. You will be able to go sword and board with magic. So there are quite a few different themes that you could take for a paladin. Now, this paladin, I'm going to go out of my comfort zone, and I'm going to make an evil type of paladin with this. I am not going to be going the Oathbreaker that is in the Dungeon Master's Guide. You can look on page 96, 97 in the DMG. So there is another type of evil paladin, but I'm going to be going Vengeance, the Vengeance paladin for this particular paladin. You know, like I said, this video series will be for level 1 to level 20, and we will literally go over every single level and adjust everything level by level, so you at home will not miss anything as you are leveling up your paladin. So we are going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to name my paladin Rak, R-A-H-K. Let's see, I am also going to level him to level 1 paladin. Like I said, we are going to go Vengeance as well once we get our Sacred Oath at level 3, but this video will not pertain to that yet. My background, to fit the evil theme, we are going to go Criminal, although there are a lot of other backgrounds: Acolyte, Soldier, Hermit, Urchin. There's a bunch. I'm going to go Criminal because I want that to fit the theme. My name is David. You guys probably already know that. The race. I'm going to pick a pretty nice race for the Paladin. It's going to give a Strength and Constitution bonus. I'm going to go with the Dragonborn. And we are going to go just over the Dragonborn racials as well. And I'm going to go with a Lawful Evil alignment. Alright. So let's go ahead and do first thing first. Let's go ahead and do our ability scores. Now, I've decided to go with the 27 point buy, as I do with all of my characters, and we are going to go with the 888 15 15 15 build. And it's going to give us a couple negative modifiers, but it is also going to give us 3 starting modifiers at +2, plus with our racials we'll get a couple at +3. So one of our starting stats will be 15 for strength. We are going to go two-handed weapons and have an optional shield and mace, just in case that we need to have some extra added defense. Dexterity, that is going to be one of our weak points. We are going to have start with an 8 in dexterity. We are going to start, and that is going to give us a -1 to dexterity saving throws and checks. Constitution, we're going to start with a 15. That is going to give us also a +2. Intelligence, we are going to start with an 8. That's going to give us a -1. We are going to start with a Wisdom of 8 as well. That is going to give us -1. And last but not least, Charisma, we will start at 15, which +2. So you can see, the primary, your most important stats for the Paladin, in my opinion, would be Charisma for your saves and your Strength for your damage. So Constitution, as with every other class in D&D, that is basically your second most important stat. So we will worry about raising Strength and Charisma to 20, and also probably at the end take maybe the Tough Feat to get a bunch of extra hit points. So that's if we're able to. So now that we've got our base stats, base ability scores, 15, 15, 15, 888, that spends all 27 of our points. Now, other descriptions of our other things that we can describe our Dragonborn. We'll go ahead and name him Rack here. He's going to be 30, 6'3". Dragonborns are pretty big, 220 pounds. So he's going to be looking like Dolph Lundgren, Dragonborn version of Dolph Lundgren. He's going to have red eyes, white with red pupils. He's going to have a light green skin because we are going to go with the green dragon for our Draconic Heritage. And he will have no hair whatsoever. So the Dragonborn traits, we're going to do one at a time. We are going to go ahead and add +2 strength and +1 charisma. Works out perfect. Yeah, it is. It is going to be +2 strength to take us to 17. And then +1 to charisma. So that will also, that's going to give us a 16, which will also be a +3. So with our racials, not too shabby. We did start off with some pretty nice ability mods. Now we are medium, even though we're over 6 foot tall, and we have a speed of 30 feet. So as you can see, I've added our speed already. Now, Dragonborn gets a Draconic ancestry, and like I said, we are going green dragon. So when you choose your Draconic Heritage, it gives you several bonuses. The first that gives you damage resistance in green is dragon. The green dragon does give you the poison resistance. So poison resistance means that in D&D 5e you will take half damage. So if you get hit with any kind of poison damage, you'll only take 50% of that damage instead of the full damage. Now also for Draconic Ancestry, you can see that's on page 34 of the Player's Handbook. You will also get for being green dragon ancestry, you'll get a 15-foot cone. So you can see here our breath weapon, 15-foot cone. It will do 2d6 poison damage, and if the target makes a saving throw, it will still take half damage on a successful save. So the breath weapon does scale in severity as you get higher level. So at level 6 you'll do 3d6, level 11 you'll do 4d6, and level 16 you'll do 5d6. Now your spell save DC, your wisdom DC is going to be different than your paladin spells. So for your breath weapon, it is going to be constitution based, and for your breath weapon save DC, it is a base of 8 plus your proficiency, which is 2 starting at level 1. And also your Constitution modifier, so you're going to add in +3. So you'll start with a total of 13 as a DC, and as your Constitution goes up, your spell save DC will also go up a little bit with that. That's if we decide to raise it up. Now your languages, you're going to start with Common and Draconic, and we will go ahead and write that up here, which we've already done. And the one last thing I want to mention, both the Dragonborn and the Paladin are not in the basic rules. This race, the Dragonborn, is in the Player's Handbook, and it starts on page 32 for the Dragonborn, and the Paladin starts on page 82 in the Player's Handbook. And like I said, you have to have the Player's Handbook for these classes. They are not in the free downloadable basic rules. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's go ahead and add our breath weapon up here to our attacks. So we'll call breath weapon, and actually let's go ahead and add it down here. 15-foot poison, and it is a 2d6. Don't forget the Constitution save DC. That is based off of, I'm looking at the Dragonborn now, I'm just double checking. It is off of your Constitution modifier 8 and proficiency. Yes, so that was correct for me to quote that. So, all right. So DC is going to be 13, and a save takes half. All right, so we just kind of put a little note there. Now, that's taken care of. Everything is taken care of for our racials. Stats, languages, everything. Next thing, let's go ahead and do our background. Our background is a very nice addition. Actually, the entire background mechanic system is new to 5e. Back in the last playtest, back in I think it was October 2013, back when the game was still called D&D Next, it introduced the backgrounds, but it did not go into the detail as it does now in the player's handbook. So very nice addition by Wizards of the Coast to put that in there to give your character more flavor and the potential for more roleplay, and I'm glad that they did come up with these backgrounds. Like I said, there's a whole array from Acolyte to Urchin, but we're going Criminal to fit the theme of our Lawful Evil Paladin, and we are going Vengeance Oath. Okay, so let's go ahead and do our background personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws. So on page in the player's handbook, you can choose criminal on page 129. I think the criminal is also in the free basic rules, but don't quote me on that. So you can go to page 129 in the player's handbook. You will get to choose a specialty of what type of criminal you are, and I am going to go with the hired killer or assassin. That's going to fit the theme of my character. Now you get to choose 2 personality traits. There are charts, there's a couple charts for traits, ideals, bonds, flaws. You can roll those or you can pick them. I just picked them, so I went ahead and picked I blow up at the slightest insult, and I always have a plan for what to do when things go wrong. Now my ideal is I do whatever it takes to become wealthy. My bond is I'm trying to pay off an old debt I owe to a generous benefactor. And my flaw is an innocent person is in prison for a crime that I committed, and I'm totally okay with that. So that is definitely a hired killer right there. Okay, so not only do you get to have these personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws for your background, you get a couple other perks as well. Now, the first thing you're going to get a couple more skill proficiencies. So for the criminal, you will be proficient with deception and stealth. So we will go ahead and we're going to go ahead and put these up here. Now, deception and stealth, as you can see, stealth really isn't going to give me too big of an advantage, seeing that I'm going to be wearing heavy armor and getting disadvantage on the rolls, so it's not like I'm going to really be a stealthy type of paladin. Now, if I decided to forego strength and go with dex, then I could wear light armor and really take advantage of the stealth, but seeing that I do not want to go dex because there's no finesse two-handed weapons, and I want to go with a two-handed maul, and I just want to smash faces with this thing. So obviously I need strength for that, so that's why I did not go dex. Alright, so next after your 2 skill proficiencies, I'll explain proficiencies in just a second. I will also get a tool proficiency as well, and I will get also thieves tools. So maybe I could possibly unlock some doors. So let's write these here. Gaming set, let's say dice gaming set, and thieves tools. Next, we'll get some equipment. Pretty cool equipment, actually. You get a crowbar. You're going to get dark common clothes. You're also going to get, including a hood. I do like that. Forgot about that. Then we're going to get a belt pouch. And that is going to contain 15 gold pieces. Now, you're going to see that was basically free gear that you get for your equipment. Now, you can do one of 2 things. You can, if you would like to, you could forego getting your free equipment because you're going to get free equipment from your background and your class. If you want to forego that and just roll a 5d4, multiply that by 10, you can do that as well. But take into consideration, armor is expensive, weapons are expensive, and that money, if you roll low enough, you may not even have enough money to buy your starting gear. So that's why I always take my starting gear, whatever they give you. And plus, your background will give you some coins too, which is 15 gold for a level 1. That's a lot of money for a level 1 character. Alright, so next, we are pretty much done with our background. So the last thing I want to do is I want to roll a 1d100, because you'll go to chapter 5 of the equipment section. There is a nice trinket chart that is a percentile. So I've got my percentile here, and I'm going to roll one of these and see what kind of cool trinket that we get. So I rolled a 73, and this is basically the shell of an egg painted with scenes of human misery. Oh, that's so perfect for this guy. The shell of an egg painted, that's perfect. Shell of an egg painted with scenes of human misery in disturbing detail. Wow. How about that RNG for that roll? Wow, that is really nice. 73. So we have a, like I said, it is a shell of an egg painted with scenes of human misery and disturbing detail. Perfect for the Vengeance Paladin going evil. That's couldn't have worked out any better for that. Alright, so now we're going to go to the Paladin, and we are going to go ahead and talk about the base features. And like I said, this starts on page 82 in the Player's Handbook. This is not in the basic rules. So now that we've got our stats, we've got our racial bonuses added in, we can go ahead and start filling in some of these things that we have here. Initiative, we're not going to have too hot of an initiative. We're going to have a -1 for initiative. Basically, it's a D20 -1. Not too good. Let's go ahead and talk about proficiency bonus. Proficiency bonus affects a lot of things in D&D 5e. It is a universal mechanic that is in every single class in D&D 5e, and it works the identically same for every class. What proficiency does is at level 1 you start with a +2. And over levels like +5 you'll get +3, up to level 16 you'll be at +6. What proficiency does is, as long as you are proficient in certain things like saving throws, the Paladin will be proficient with wisdom and charisma saving throws. So we will go ahead and take our proficiency in those two, wisdom and charisma. What that does is it gives us a +2 bonus on top of our wisdom saving throw. So we are going to have a -1 wisdom saving throw to begin with because we started with an 8. So with our proficiency, we will have a +1. So it takes us out of the negative modifier and gives us a positive. Our charisma is going to be at a +3. Added our proficiency bonus will be at +5. Pretty nice. Intelligence will always stay at -1. Constitution is going to stay at +2. Dexterity, another -1 modifier. So dodging those fireballs and lightning bolts, it's not going to look too good. And then your strength is also going to be +3. Alright, so proficiency bonus does that for saving throws. Proficiency bonus also works for your skill checks. Now, for the Paladin, we get to choose 2 between athletics, insight, intimidation, medicine, persuasion, and religion. So to fit my vengeance evil theme, I believe I probably would want to go insight and intimidation, or yeah, I would say probably insight or intimidation. So let's go with insight, maybe persuasion. Let's go with intimidation and insight. So we'll be able to deceive lies, and we'll also be able to intimidate folks as well. Alright. So we get to choose 2 of those. We'll start with a total of 4 between our class and our background proficiencies. And let's go ahead and fill the rest of these in now. So dexterity, and it works the same way as the saving throws do. Let me just go down and add this, seeing that we're proficient in dexterity, stealth saving throws. Wisdom, we will not get any bonus for that. So I'm just filling in all of these proficiencies now. And remember, if you're proficient, then you would also add in your proficiency, which at level 1 we are at +2. So we'll have a +5 to intimidation, and we'll also have a +1 to insight, seeing that our wisdom is a -1. History we won't be too good at. Deception will be pretty good. Maybe we could get a disguise kit or something later on. Maybe get some training in that somehow. Strength +3. Intelligence, we're working at a -1. Wisdom, -1. Dexterity, -1 for acrobatics. So now all of our skills are totally done, looking good. Last thing we'll do, passive perception, -1. So it is a 10 -1 for a 9. It always starts at a base of 10 and then add your perception modifier. And what passive perception does is it's for basically your dungeon master to see if you fall into that trip. If you trip or fall into that pit of spikes in front of you or the pool of acid. Maybe if you're walking down a hall and there's portraits lining each wall and there's eyeballs following you, he'll do a stealth check versus your passive perception. If the stealth roll is above your passive perception, then you wouldn't see it. If it's lower, then you would see it. And either the dungeon master, he or she, can give you a note or just flat out tell you in front of the group. So, all right, next let's talk about our regular proficiencies for the Paladin. We will get proficiency in all armor and shields, which is a good thing. Weapons will get simple and martial weapons. Basically any weapon we want to use. No tool proficiencies. We've already gone over saving throws and skills. So there we go. That's pretty much everything there. I'm going to grab a drink. My throat is getting dry. Sorry about that. Our starting hit points for a Paladin is based off of a D10. Now, at level 1 in D&D 5e, all classes start at maximum hit points. And the Paladin is no exception. They start at max as well. So it's 10 plus your Constitution modifier. So we will start with a maximum of 12. Your hit dice, we have 1 total hit dice because we are a level 1 playing character, and it's 1d10. So the hit dice works like this. It is sort of like it works like the healing surges from 4th edition, but you roll dice instead of taking a flat 25% of your current hit points. So if you're level 1, you have 1 hit die heal to expend. You have to have a short rest, which in D&D 5e is 1 hour. So if you are successfully able to get a 1 hour rest, you can use your 1 hit die heal. So if you're down 5 hit points, you can do a D10 plus your Constitution modifier, voila, you can heal it back up. Can't go over your maximum hit points. Now, the higher level you get, the more of these hit dice that you can expend, and you get 1 for every level. So take, for instance, if you are level 10, you will have 10 hit dice heals that you can expend. Now, you can say you have you had quite a few battles throughout the day, and you have no hit dice heals that you can use, so you have none left. But your group is able to get a long rest. Now, to get those hit dice heals back, you will have to have the long rest, and when your 8-hour rest is successful, then you get back half of your expended die. So you will literally get back 5 expended die instead of 10. You don't get back the full amount, just half. So that's how that mechanic works. Hit points are done. Let's go ahead and talk about every other level after that. Now, starting at level 2, if your Dungeon Master wants you to just roll, you're going to have to roll a D10 plus your Constitution modifier. But there's also a flat 6 that you can take as well, and I let the characters in my game, the players, either choose a 1d10 to roll plus con, or they can take the flat 6 and be safe. So I allow them to do either or. So it looks like we're pretty good. The last thing we need to do is work on our free gear that we now get for our Paladin class. So now we've already got our free gear for our criminal background, and let's go ahead and start with the equipment now. We get a martial weapon and a shield, or 2 martial weapons. So let's go ahead and take a shield. A shield adds +2 to AC. But this is not going to be our primary defense. We're going to keep this secondary. So the martial weapon that we're going to take is going to be a maul. Now, a maul is a two-handed bludgeoning instrument of death, and it is a 2d6 dice roll. So you're going to get a minimum instead of a 1d12. I like how they did that with the larger two-handed weapons and did a 2d6. I would have actually really liked to seen them do 3d4 to get a minimum of 3 damage because hey, it is it is a two-handed bludgeoning instrument of death, or the great sword. So maybe your DM, maybe they'll allow you to do that, but it is a 2d6. Now also we can take. Let's go ahead and first let's write our maul down here. So it is bludgeoning, and it is two-handed. So there you go, and it's also a heavy weapon. Now, next we can take 5 javelins or any simple melee weapon. I don't want any javelins. I want to take a simple melee weapon, and I'm going to take a mace. My mace is going to basically stay in its basically on the strap, holding it to my side, and I will be able to use that with my shield that I was able to take with my maul. So let's go ahead and take a mace, and the mace is a simple weapon. It is 1d6, and it is also bludgeoning. Alright, so let's do, our 2d6 is up here. I'm sorry about that, because we need to figure out our bonus damage as well. So let's go ahead and figure that out right now. So our maul, seeing that we're proficient in any martial weapon, and it's the same thing. This works with proficiency bonus also for any weapons that the paladin can use, which is everything. So we're going to get to add our strength bonus, which is 3 plus our proficiency to give us a +5 bonus for both the maul and the mace. Now the maul is going to be a 2d6 plus 3. And the mace is going to be the same, 1d6 plus 3. Now, you do not add proficiency bonus into your damage. A lot of people I've seen make the mistake and do that. But no, in D&D 5e, it's only for saving throws, skill checks that you're proficient in, your weapons that you're proficient in, and then your spellcasting attack modifier and your spell save DC. That is what proficiency affects. So there we go. That's it. Now we can also take a Priest pack or an Explorer's pack. Let's go ahead and take an Explorer's pack. Now the Explorer's pack in Chapter 5 of the Player's Handbook has a lot of items in it. It has a backpack, a blanket. I believe that there are torches, there's rations, there's water skin, there's rope. I'm not going to break all this stuff down. I'm just going to write Explorer's Pack just to let everybody know that we do have this for our character sheet. Now the last thing that we can take is Chainmail and a holy symbol. So we'll also write down holy symbol for the deity that we choose. And I won't be choosing a deity. I'll let you guys come up with whatever deity that you want to choose from. Any setting. There's in the appendices in the back of the Player's Handbook, there are a multitude of deities from Forgotten Realm to Dragonlance to Eberron to Norse to Celtic to Egyptian to all kinds of different deities. So just choose one, go with it. Just make sure your DM approves of it first. So, which usually you probably won't have a problem with that. And last but not least, our armor, which we are going to choose Chainmail. Now, Chainmail is a heavy armor, and there's advantages and disadvantages. So the advantages, it starts with at a base of 16 AC. But the disadvantage is you get disadvantage on stealth checks. So basically, our +1 doesn't mean anything. So disadvantage in 5e, roll twice, take the lowest roll. Don't try to stealth with Chainmail on. They're going to hear you coming from a mile away. But hey, I've seen people try it. Alright, so we have disadvantage here. That's pretty much it. Let's figure out our AC now. 16. We cannot add our dexterity modifier in there. thankfully. So we will have a 16 AC when we are using our two-handed maul. Now if we drop our maul and pull out our shield and mace, then we will raise our armor class to 18, and the mace will go off of our strength modifier. So there we go. Last thing we need to worry about in this tutorial are our class features. Now you can go in the Paladin section, you can go to page 84, and we will get two things starting at level 1. The first being Defined Sense, and it takes an action to use, and within 60 feet you will know the location of any celestial fiend or undead. And you can use this a number of times, equal to 1 plus your charisma modifier, and you need a long rest once all of those charisma charges are basically expended. Divine Sense is pretty nice. It actually, Divine Sense is more for roleplay in my opinion, but you can also find undead and fiends and whatnot. Now you're also going to get at level 1, you will get a very nice class feature called Lay on Hands. Now this takes an action to use, and this is where you have a healing pool based on your Paladin level times 5. So we're level 1, we get a total of 5 points in this healing pool, and you can touch and heal hit points on you, a target, as an action. Or if you want to spend 5 points, you can also cure a disease or poison effect per 5 points. So if you want to cure 2 things, it would be 10 points. Really nice. Lay on Hands is really nice. I really like Lay on Hands. Alright, so that's it. Everything on level 1 for Eco. Not Eco, but Rack, our Paladin. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget, I'm going to have other videos coming out. We're going to have, the next video will be levels 2 to 5, and then 6 to 10, then 11 to 15, and then we'll finish up 16 to 20. We will, the next video will deal with more things getting into spell casting at level 2. Level 3, we're going to get our Divine Domain, so we'll get to choose and take our Vengeance Oath, and we will be able to get more class features on top of whatever we're going to get with the Paladin. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please feel free to leave a comment down below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you enjoy what you're seeing. And if you need a Paladin, if you want to play a Paladin, I got 840 character sheets on my website, tabletopping.net. There will also be a link down below. All of my character sheets are on these very same Dungeons & Dragons 5e from Wizards of the Coast character sheets, all in 3-page PDF format. Download them to your PC, to your tablet, to your smartphone, print them out, do whatever you want. Take them to your game, and you can try. That's the great thing about this database of character sheets. You can try out any class you want, any archetype, any level. So thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.